Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins. It's Fleetyards time.
It's Fleetyards Reviews time. That's right. We're looking at episode 9 of the Orville today. And this one is entitled Cupid's Dagger.
Nice.
Not an arrow, a dagger.
Very poignant. Very, very. Episode 9, we're well into the series, well into this franchise, and I think it's fair to say it's coming into its own at this point. It can use its own continuity and things. But what was your overall short review of this episode, Stuart?
Just ho-hum. This is an average episode for me. It combined a few TNG-style tropes from specific episodes, and I could see the writing on the wall the whole episode. I saw every little step coming as to what was going to happen next, and it was just very predictable. It was a good episode, but it was just an average ho-hum sci-fi episode, in my opinion. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't awful. It was just kind of middle of the road.
Cool.
What are your thoughts?
I loved it to pieces.
Did you?
Yes. See, we do disagree, but we can be nice about it.
I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't say I hated it.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have worked that, but I don't try and think ahead in the plot when I'm watching it. I try and enjoy it as I go, because if you think you know where it's going, there's no surprise, and there's one specific bit it's written on the wall, but that's the point. It's meant to be a recycling of the past. But I really enjoyed this episode, and I thought every character was on point. The acting was good, although Seth MacFarlane again shows he's the weakest of the batch, I think. Hasn't got as much range, and his face similar expressions. Not in a bad way, but he is certainly the weakest.
Ironically enough, this one wasn't written by Seth MacFarlane. Most of the other ones have been. This one wasn't, but if I had to guess without seeing who wrote it, I would assume this was written by Seth. Just based on the overall, some of the beats in it, and some of the humor was very Family Guy-esque. But yeah, this was not written by him.
I thought it was well written though, for what it was. Really good.
It was well written, but if I had not known, I would have assumed it was Seth MacFarlane.
Right. Well,
and some of the other ones that he has written, I wouldn't have assumed were him. But
so it's predictably unpredictable. But I thought it was interesting because it was very much like there wasn't any poop jokes or fart jokes. The jokes were a bit more integrated into the story, so everything kept flowing at a fast pace. The subplot with the elevator is the exception, but I actually quite liked that. I thought it was fun.
That's also something I saw coming. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
I really liked it. It's in terms of overall package, my favourite one so far.
Yeah.
Just because overall it was Orville, them, and the CG was great. The space shots were really nice as well. That's worth calling out. I've done screenshots of each of them. Yeah, just as itself, I thought really, really well done.
Yeah, and not just the space shots. The alien makeup was fantastic in this episode. But we'll get there when we get there.
Breakdown time. Scene 1. Where do we start, Stuart?
Well, the very first note I have, it's unfortunate that karaoke still exists in the future. I hate karaoke with a passion. I will never get up and sing because I know I'm awful. And other people should realize that they're awful and not get up and sing.
She wasn't too bad, though.
Yeah, she wasn't too great either.
That was not the point, though, is it? It's karaoke. You could be all the rage. It's fine.
I guess. And when Bordas was just about to sing, I was assuming he was going to sound exactly like Celine Dion, which I would have laughed, and we still don't know what he sounds like, but it would have been interesting.
This show is a wonderful show where they reference themselves. This is a very serialized, also long form arc. Multiple plot lines are continued in this episode, and yet they're so well integrated for, having the pre-title sequence, having the subplots, and it all integrate. I thought that was, like I said, it feels like its own universe because things have been set up. And my first note was love the song and links to the story. Because on the second watching, I do my notes. Lots of things are nicely integrated here, and also this first scene, you get a real family feel. They keep showing you different characters, they keep showing you having fun, and you like everybody. You like who they are. 9 episodes in, they've succeeded. We like this cast, we like this crew, we're part of this family just along with them. And obviously Titanic, that was a great choice for a song. Yeah. And I saw that coming, like he's going to sing. And I love the fact they didn't, which was just like, oh.
Awesome.
And then obviously, that's a scene where it's of itself, but then you have the character moment, everyone's laughing, yeah, you'll be silent. Okay,
Yes.
I laughed out loud at that. It's like character.
I did
moment,
too.
Love it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
great intro. That's such a fun, light-hearted yet characterful intro. But they get called in. When the admiral, the classic admiral from the first episode, has come back and is saying another war may be brewing between the
Navarians and the Bruidians over the planet Lepovius.
Yes, I wrote it down, but I can't pronounce it because it's been a while since I watched the episode. So yeah, they're being sent to investigate a new archaeological find that was found on the planet, and hopefully it'll give an indication of which side actually has claim to the planet, because both say they do. Very classical, modern day, contemporary dispute style.
Yeah.
What's the word? Allegory. And this is the evidence that can help them. And obviously, these guys are the best guys for the job.
Well,
they were close. Yeah. Well, they weren't because the other ship was.
And
but
at this point, I'm thinking, because I just, like last week or earlier this week, watched the TNG episode with the preservers or whatever, where the Cardassians, the Klingons, the Romulans, the Federation, all their DNA was from one race, and it had the founder changeling girl, even though it wasn't her, but it was her. Anyway, I just watched that, so I thought, bet you any money both of their DNA is going to be in this ancient alien artifact. Right there, right then, the first time I saw that, I said to Sylvia, I bet you they're both going to be able to claim the planet.
yeah, but that wasn't really important in the grand scheme.
We didn't know that at this point, though. But I thought I'd call it, and anyway.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah, this will be out of order. So we get introduced to a close with the 2-ring ship, which we'll look at a little bit later. I think it was the Olympic, was it?
The Olympia, yeah.
Olympia, yeah. Great, cool. And we get some more great CG. Love it, of the ship. And then they're sending the shuttle aboard to the Orville, and the classical trope of, oh no, I've got to tell them, but my communicator isn't working. run. But she does this. We've seen her do it before. It's fine. This is just, she's so young, her brain goes to, I need to go tell him.
Well, they may not be carrying their communicators. Well, they do the wristwatch.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. But Stuart, who is the special, one-of-a-kind, they can't get another one, archaeologist, which is so eager and so important for this mission that might save 2 races?
He's a Retepsian, and he is a forensic anthropologist, or archaeologist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it is Durilio, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's the blue guy that spurts blue stuff all over the place that she cheated on him with.
Oh, it's that guy. And what did you think when you saw him?
I kind of went, ugh. Here we go again about the cheating and the divorce, and we get it. But no, it was well done. I got to say, when I first saw him, I was like, oh, geez, really? Do we need to do this now?
Oh.
And I wasn't super keen on it because I knew kind of where I know where it was going.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And but now that I've seen the whole episode, I really thought it was well done. But at the time, I was kind of like going, ugh, really?
Yeah, you get the sense of, oh, it's one of those stories. But no, it's actually very smart, very smartly done, and it does break conventions. And the first thing, obviously, is that this guy is really nice. He is understanding, pleasant, but not too much in like a hippie way. I assume you've seen the film Bedazzled with...
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, multiple times the devil changed Brendan Fraser into different versions of himself. And he thinks what people want, or what the lady wants, is him being very sensitive at one point, but that's being too sensitive, like too hippie-ish. But this guy was actually a good mix. He wasn't too much. Yeah. So you kind of you just thought that's who he is, that's a species. And so I really appreciated that they were giving depth to this. I mean, the first scene of this entire franchise is the cheating. Mm-hmm. And this episode is such a strong payoff for that you didn't need, but you actually realized you did need when played in this way. So I really appreciated that, the way they handled it, and to be professional at first, even though he's got a stupid office. He has to get whatever. But they agree, the guy says, no, let's shake hands. The fact that this is about, not us, this is about 2 races. Mm-hmm. We're here to do a job. Do we respect it? Yes, we do. Okay, shake hands, let's move on. So I loved everyone's professionalism, despite. Ed's clearly grown as a person as well over the course of this season. I think Kelly's been good influence on him to bring him back to a pre-cheating state. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I got to say, I really appreciate Ed's whole attitude here, because I would be the exact same way. Mm-hmm. I mean, not getting into my past at all, but this has happened to me before, and I would be a little bit snarky. I'd be the exact same way he was, where he's trying to close the elevator and like has a bit of an attitude.
And this nice thing is such a balance with him being too much, but the fact is it's just happened, so you can understand being the instant emotional outburst, but he wasn't being a real dick,
And yeah, and when she was singing karaoke, he was looking at her like, oh, I really remember the good times, and now all of a sudden it's like this rehash of the past, and yeah, I totally get where he's coming from. So
again, the balance could have been so bad here, but they did a really good job, and this one's definitely worth a watch for the character growth. But yeah, the first elevator skit, the door doesn't quite close for him as it will for her later. They're in the elevator, and this alien comes in. I believe his name is John or Jack. I did write it down somewhere.
I didn't write it down either.
There's lots of good quotes in this episode. What happens in this scene? I'll find his name.
Well, they're uncomfortable. Well, he's like, oh, top brass. Whoa, the commander and captain.
Both in the same elevator. I'm so lucky. Yeah.
Well, that's what people say when they see us together too, right? Anyway,
wow.
And then they're in the elevator. There's obviously tension, and he's like, "Wow, it'd really be awesome to have like music in here." And we'll get on that. The commander says that she'll look into it. But yeah, that's basically the setup here.
Oh, I don't think he notices the tension. I think because we know what's happening. I think he's just having, oh, hey guys, sirs. And this is one of God knows how many. And it's such a weird subplot, but actually it's again. Kind of helps diffuse the situation and bring it takes you out of their microcosm, which I appreciate because it's a big ship, It's not just about these characters. And is he the voice of Cleveland? Because some of the later scenes I thought, damn, that's kind of close. Because you can't tell what race, what creed he is in the costume. That's whatever. But we know that Steve
the voice of Cleveland isn't a black guy, by the way. It's a white guy.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
I mean, same thing if Steve from American Dad is the helm guy, so he does use his friends. I feel like that was a...
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
How cool is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't find the guy's name. That annoys me. I think it's like Jack, or it's like something really mundane, which I liked.
Yeah, it's just a mundane, regular name. Yeah.
Anyway, and then they come out of the elevator, and we're back to Alara, who is, again, great in this episode. She's very professional. Again, growth.
I love Alara in this episode, and I haven't been a fan of her overall, as you know. I'm not really... But this one, I found her character awesome. I found her very cute and attractive in this one, actually.
Now you see it.
Yeah, I'm getting there, yeah. I still hate Kelly with a passion, by the way.
No, she was very nice in that first scene.
No, she's awful. Awful. Anyway, Derulo steps into Yavik, yes. And he apologizes, and, he was on his way to the sickbay with the flowers and the guitar, and then he's trying to put the goo back on, and he's like, just put it anywhere, dude. You don't have to find my G-spot. So he just puts it on his... Yeah, that was awesome.
And like we said in the first trailer, the fact there were different types of life forms makes this the true utopian that Gene wanted for Star Trek,
Yeah. And
the fact that he's holding flowers with the guitar, it's a wonderful moment, and he's been quite an odd character throughout, hitting the same beats, but still, Lone's engineer is kind of cool, but again, this is paying off those previous bits. He does actually care for the Doctor, and we see that in a few minutes. It's quite sweet, and he's really, you can tell. Just for the voice of this, because obviously the blob isn't emoting, it's the voice. You can tell with the voice, he's nervous, he's like, this is my shot. And it's sweet, actually.
Then the next scene is sickbay, and the little baby has got its shots, and...
it's called Topa? The official name is Topa for the baby?
Yes. And Clyden and Bortus are having relationship issues, which I thought were funny because, once you have a baby, things change. And anyway, so that was a nice little it's leading up to something down the road. I'm sure there's going to be issues with those guys.
And, well, that's the thing. Again, this episode is the great continuity episode. We've got Clyden back, the kid, and the Doctor's kids. Like, everyone is in this episode, which is great. Everyone. And it's a great little...
Yeah.
This whole thing's about sort of family, the fact that the blue guy broke up a family. It really is about... family starting, not starting, all this. But even Alara mentions her mum, is all. I didn't really clock it. It's just a family episode, you know. And we even get to see a lot of individual crew members, like the scientists that do at the end, the medical do at the end, they're doing the shuttle bay. They have everyone knows everyone. Everyone is interconnected. That's what this episode's about. Which actually I thought was really nice. Again, continuity, and it's interesting to see it. Now, I was hoping that with Bortus and Clyde, it wasn't like Bortus was still pissed about the sex change. I hope it was just, you know.
I haven't got that thought at all. Even in that about a girl episode.
Well, I haven't had a kid, so I was kind of like, oh, that's the last thing we saw about them. But you hope it's just about the stress of a baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
One is a job. It's a very important job. You know, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got him talking to the doctor, like he wants to ask her out for dinner, and he's going all out. He's not going to leave until she says yes. And then he says, you're a good mother to those awful boys, which I laughed at because I said that in the last episode that the kids were just awful. I didn't enjoy them. But not a good way to build a relationship with somebody by insulting their kids. No. I kind of made a note of that. Everything else was good, but...
Well, he's an odd person, and it plays to that. I like the equivalent of the space boombox is a guitar. Like, that's the, you know, his song's awful, but it's wonderful. It's, this whole episode has some awkward moments, but it's awkward. But since we saw last episode, we know she's not looking for a man. Like, we know she is an independent mother of two by choice. She doesn't need a man, and especially not a blob man that she hasn't any distinct feelings for. You know, you can now see that that's not going to happen for just not going to happen reasons.
Well, she's waiting for Marcus's dad, Cisco, to come back from being with the Prophets. Just saying.
Every time that joke's going to be great. So the plot starts really happening. Kelly goes to see what's his name again? Sorry, Durilio. And I love the little artifact. And he's just being good at his job, which I appreciate. And she's like, dude, Durilio, it was a mistake. I don't have feelings for you. It's never going to happen again. And then guess what? There's something in her face, and he sort of pushes it away, and suddenly, hello.
This is the point where I looked at Sylvia and went, I absolutely hate her. With the way she was flirting with him and stuff.
So
I'm like, this
cute,
is...
though. But she's kind of all over him again. And it's like, oh no, this is going to happen, isn't it? But it actually deepens the overall story arc. And then they're on the bridge. They need to meet the delegates, and they're like, "Where is she? Where is she?" And Ed goes to find her. And where is she, Stuart?
Well, first of all, it's rude to walk into people's quarters. I know that the computer located her in her quarters, but why would you just barge in? First of all, I know I'd just go and handle it myself at that point, to be honest, instead of walking in on somebody. But and then how in all of these movies and TV shows where somebody's cheating on somebody, the other person always walks in and calls their name, hello, and they never hear you. That is such an old trope. I'm getting so sick and tired of it.
But yeah, summary being, she's back with the blue guy. And Ed's like,
yeah.
As you would be. I mean, he's been there one day, less than a day. Didn't take him long. So she runs after him, and they need to go somewhere else. So where do they go?
Wow. First of all, I got to say, again, I can really relate to Ed's character here because I've been in this situation. But anyway, they go back to the elevator and run into the same guy in the elevator. And he's like, hey, have you talked about the music? And he goes, why don't you handle that? All right? That's your job. And I'm like, that's when I looked at Sylvia and goes, I bet you by the end of this episode, there's going to be music in the elevators. I didn't expect the next time we saw an elevator. I expected at the end, but yeah, again, saw it on the wall, but it was awesome.
It's a very, very simple gag, but also it has a sense of the crew and the world. Like, some jokes you can just, like a fart joke, a poop joke, doesn't actually add anything. This joke actually added something, you know? Which I liked. But yeah, absolutely, and that's a second elevator, 2 of the many. And then the delegates have arrived. Great makeup. Love the horn ridge guy. Really creative. And
it's like the Minbari from Babylon 5 with the bone ridges.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the makeup in this was fantastic.
And they had a lot of it.
Yeah, and even the costuming was just spot on awesome. So congratulations to the Orville departments. I mean, they just did a fantastic job.
But no, Ed comes to rescue. They're instantly at each other's throats. And like Alara said, it went from 1 to 100 instantly. It's like, okay, these guys have some real history, obviously, and they're here. But Ed walks straight in, de-stresses the situation, says, hey, let's try and talk peace. Even if we won't do anything, let's try. I love he was professional. He was good at his job. He was right there. Said all the right things. I'm like, good on you, Ed. You know, everyone's doing a good job so far. Even the archaeologist.
Yeah. And we got salt water for you guys to have baths. We got the replicators making this kind of food for you guys. And the mini bar is free, so go bananas on the M&Ms.
Yeah.
I just love that.
And the alien's like, thank you for the consideration. It's like, yeah. We're making the effort here, guys. It was nice.
Yeah. Oh, well. Next scene. Oh, okay. I really love Alara here. Just her reactions to everything. Like, oh, he's attractive, is he? He's so great. Yeah. And the colors. My mom did our bathroom in those colors, so they must be good. I mean, just her reaction, everything was so spot on. Yeah. Absolutely love her character here. But again, this makes me despise Kelly even more, this whole scene. You know, because Ed's the kind of guy you can send out for tampons and bagels, and he always makes me laugh. And Laura's like, well, that's really nice. That's something I would like. Because we kind of got that vibe again of her being interested in Ed.
It's so subtle, but it's there, and it's little beats. Little beats, yeah.
Yeah. But Derulo is just a sexual attraction, and it's like, shut up, Kelly. I'm sorry, I just don't like Kelly.
Well, she says, and again, everything is in the scene that you know. She says, it's like a drug. Which is great, they just throw it out.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, she's being chemically changed, you know? It's not actually her. We saw how strong she went in the situation with him in the room before she was touched. It's like she was saying no. You know, Ed went from being a straight guy to being, later. These things affect them. So everything she's doing now is under the influence. So you can't judge her based on this. That's not really fair. But it's interesting to see how much of her is still there.
True. But this didn't didn't help me like her character. I'm sorry. Even if it is chemically induced or whatever, I just don't care.
It was a good scene, though.
It was an excellent scene. And I really appreciate Alara a lot more because of this scene. Because she was level-headed. She wasn't the typical best friend, girlfriend kind of thing. Like, oh, he's so awesome. I'm so happy for you. No, it was more like what the hell are you doing?
But still supportive. Like friend supportive, and yet, are you sure about this? Seriously, though?
Yeah.
Which was nice. I mean, Kelly was saying, I love him. Was it a mistake? Did I miss it because I missed out because I was so concerned about Ed? Did I miss out? I'm in love with him. And she's like, uh-huh. Yep. Nope. Yeah. That was a great scene. And I like how, more with the Doctor than I think with them, but they it's not overdone, but they regress in terms of the characters into more childlike, more teenage-like. And again, Alara then shows her maturity, so you get that double. Yeah. Throughout the whole episode, she's being pushed up, which is great because she does look young. I mean, she is young, but she's younger than me, which is something. Really well played team. And then we get the opposite. We get the Ed and other chap scene, and we get that great CG render of the space stations from the episode in the background, and he's like, I am just annoyed, and that's a good scene.
Again, his anger is totally justified, and I would be the exact same in this situation. And his friend is very supportive. Like, go down there, kick his ass out, because I don't blame you for being mad. Loved it. And this I didn't see coming. This is where Sylvia said, how much you want to make a bet that he's going to start coming on to it? And I'm like, I hope not. If that happens, I'm not watching Orville ever again. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm not watching the show ever again.
And then you loved it. You loved every minute of it.
I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh.
It was... No, this episode has so many cringe moments, but they're brilliant. They're really well-written cringe. Like, at the end, I'm like, oh, God, this is so hard to watch, but I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And Ed is now into him.
Well, before that, though, he shows him the DNA strand. There is DNA there because this is a birthing bucket. So they had some of the placenta there to get DNA from. Yeah. But it's incomplete. He needs to run scans to see which DNA it matched. And I'm like, I bet you it's both of them again. But anyway, now he's totally into Derulo.
Yes. Yeah. The next scene surprised me, though. I was assuming it was Kelly being a bit full on. But no, it was the Doctor wearing whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, and I was thinking, what is this? Is this just his pheromones getting all over the ship? Everybody's going to start getting it on, but it's not quite that.
Which I appreciated.
And this got me thinking too. I referenced the other TNG episode where all the races have this part of the same DNA, but this is going to Deep Space Nine, where Loxana Troy was going through her menopause, and everybody was being affected around her. I thought the same kind of thing was going on here, but not quite airborne this time. We don't find this out yet, but I'm like, okay, what's the correlation here? Like, why is
Because I was hoping Alara wouldn't get affected because she was being so kick-ass.
Yeah.
But they played it just enough, which was great.
And with that too, I expected her later when she's taking care of the situation. I expected him to touch her or something, and for her to start falling for him too. And which I would have been like, oh, geez, really?
Yep.
But I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad she stayed on the level, and I thought that was awesome.
This episode showed restraint.
Yeah.
And all the best for it. And given the high end consequences, of them dealing with the first scene of the cheating, it's quite a big subject matter. But yeah, she goes to what's the blob guy's name again? Sorry, Yaffid's quarters, and she's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Because he's given up. We get another beautiful space shot and a wonderful little scene. Actually, real depth to the character. He goes out into the pool, very again DS9 Odo like, but a great little scene. We see a picture of his parent.
Brother. We learn a lot more about his species.
Brilliant.
They reproduce by mitosis, so I mean that's good, I guess.
Yeah, his mother became him and his brother.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So he's going to become his kids. It's brilliant. It's a great little concept. And then we get another cringe moment. They make out.
Yeah.
It's great though. It's clever. Like, again, Gene's Utopian. That's just what we had in mind when we did Star Trek. Was to see blob people kiss Cassidy Yates from the future.
Yep. Anyway, next scene. We got Ed plucking his eyebrows and putting on cologne, and this is hilarious. This scene, because his friend comes in and is like, "So did you give it to him?" "Oh no, we're going to have drinks. He's a really cool guy." And it's like, what?
What?
Just the reactions here are hilarious. This is how I would be if my friend was doing the same thing. I'd be like,
huh?
Okay, that's good, I guess, but what?
Yeah, it's a scene that you can imagine having with any of your friends. Like, obviously, a weird scene with your friends, but, and he's like, "Dude, are you into him?" And he's like, What? So far, maybe.
Why you got to put labels on it? Why do we call a box a box? Maybe a box doesn't want to be a box.
Yeah, that was a very long scene of box, but
that was a Family Guy scene. That's why I thought. Yes. That's why I thought some of this writing sounded very much Family Guy and done by Seth MacFarlane, which it could have been. It could have been like improvised or just notes on the script or whatever. But that's why I thought this was more of a Seth MacFarlane written episode. Scenes like this. So
yeah, Seth got to embrace his inner Peter. And honestly, what did you think of his custom jacket?
I thought it was fly, except for the red button. Lose the red button, and it's pretty fly. Yeah,
it wasn't too bad. I love his V-neck with the blue. Like, is
that
the way that uniforms?
Yeah, because we see it in Deep Space Nine and Voyager, how they have like the undergarment, and even Kira. Yeah, I know, but I like the. Yeah. And he wanted to show some personal style and flair, to bring it to match Derulo. Yeah.
No,
instead of wearing just his uniform. Yeah.
And I love this is again where the show can go those steps farther. He says, "I'm confused. Do you want to bang Derulo?" And he's like, "What?
Bang?
You bang?
Be banged? Why do you gotta label everything?
Bang or be banged. I love that. Again, it's very just messful. Nice little scene. And Lamar says, "No, everyone's on drugs here." It seems like Kelly's on drugs. No, everyone. The whole ship is.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little meta joke. Like, we're all a bit weird.
And then the delegates come in and they're being neglected. Nobody's answering their inquiries, so of course they're getting frustrated. Yeah. And she's like, "Well, the captain's right there," and he's like, "Hey," waving over at Derulo. And it's like when you first meet somebody and you're all excited. They're the only thing that matters. I thought that was hilarious. And the delegates are like, "What the hell is going on?" No, perfect.
Yeah, But guess what? Kelly got there first. She's telling him a story about a pool and a professor, but who really cares, says Ed. And everyone's making love eyes, and Darrell's like, oh, hey guys. It's nice we're all getting on.
Yeah, and I thought this better not end up in a threesome because
I thought that... Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to see that. But
Would
anyway.
have been great, though, Alara to walk in with the friend, like, all three of them...
Yeah.
And she splatters over all... Because
that would have been hilarious, actually.
In terms of, like, the evolution of the story, that would have made so much sense.
Yeah.
But that would have been, I guess, too comedic. Like, the way they played it, again, they rode that line.
Yeah. And I love how she's got her top undone and, you know... Maybe you can go distract the delegates with your cleavage. I love that little line by Ed, so...
Hey, he's got a V-neck on. He's sporting that, you know... That nice little, neck of power. I love that he goes and gets some nice drinks, and there's a lovely little tete-by-tete. But obviously, they're both under the influence now, so the lines are sort of... It's not really what they would say, but it's interesting to see what they might say in the situation. And she's like, is this just revenge? He's like, no, I like him. She's like, he's not your type. He's like, could be, he might be. Yeah, I'll get there first. And she's like, good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good scenes. They're all good scenes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And then the next thing on the bridge, this was hilarious. When Isaac asks, I don't understand. Is Ed into Derillo? Not yet. Or however it went. It was just hilarious. And again, this was more of the Seth MacFarlane humor that made me think it was written by him.
Clever, though.
It's very clever. Absolutely.
Because they're asking, where is he?
It's funny, right before that joke, when Isaac asked, is he into him? I thought the exact same thing in my head. Mm-hmm, that's how my mind works. And then all of a sudden it's said, and I'm like, awesome. Yep. I love this show sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I like this show, and I like Seth MacFarlane's humor, is because I can relate to it, because that's what goes on in my head.
Mm-hmm. But also, they've toned it down and been cleverer. They've got their stride of the balance, I think.
Yeah.
It's... Because, again, I think all the jokes hit in this episode, for the most part. Like, early on, they threw out stuff that just wasn't funny or wasn't clever. This episode was solid when it came to that stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's what I mean. This episode was its own... Like, they're in their stride now, you know?
Yeah. And then Claire's kids come on the bridge, and I'm like, oh, Christ. Now that we've been introduced to them, they're going to be in every damn episode. I don't care.
It was nice continuity. They filmed it at the same time as the other episode. It's nice to see them again.
It was, I guess.
But they're concerned because their mum's been in the office for a long time. And she's not asking the hell or open the door. So Lara's like, because I guess they need to go fix the crew. Walks in and, oh my goodness.
Weird gelatinous sex.
I was impressed they showed us what they did and they thought it through enough to make it work.
Mm-hmm. And I was just confounded by her lack of reaction to Alara coming in.
Well, she was having a good time.
Again. And anyway, then she comes out and she's like, you know, good thing I'm so open and, you know, progressive in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It was rude.
It
was rude.
Yeah. I love Yafid now. Apparently there's no rules on this ship. You can just walk into any room you want to just because either you're the captain or security.
Well, that's the thing. As we've seen before, you know, security, override, Wharf, Beta. I mean, these people have access codes to get into any room if they need to.
Yeah, well, of course.
These three can do it. I'm not surprised. And if you know, a war could happen, I was never really concerned about them doing this. We've seen it all the time. Like, this happens.
I know,
but then also the Doctor's in love, and I'm like, well, this is a thing.
She's gonna marry him.
She's gonna, and he's like, yeah, you know, Jay's got to do what Jay's got to do. You know, it's all good. And Laura's like, no, get in your quarters. You're staying.
And stay there. But why? I just thought that was hilarious. Yeah,
but
it was
it's
a good scene.
He's not being affected by this, which I liked. He was actually being able to, you know, what was happening to him wasn't the same because he's an alien. You know, was different like that.
Mm-hmm. But he can. Yeah, we'll find that out later. Mm-hmm. But anyway, next scene. I made you banana bread and sandwiches, and we can, you know, we were going to watch a movie, but no, he made us food. I mean, I don't want to turn it down. It was such a great back and forth with these guys. I thought it was very well written.
Yeah, when Kelly and, well, those two, they have good chemistry, and it's building all the time. But like, he walks in and says, "Hey, Dar," already doing a cute abbreviation. I love that he just stole the meal that she made for him during studying for his officer's exam. So he's not even original, which I liked.
Yeah.
He's using
Well,
her idea.
it's not your dry ass banana bread. It's my own recipe.
Although, note, when he was studying for his officer's exam, so therefore they knew each other, I think, a lot longer than we thought. So we've never had a sense of how long they're married, how long they were dating. You know, was it a 10-year relationship? You know what I mean? Like, there's a sense of, it was, I mean, he's not going to get a ship straight out of the gate. So his officer's exam, that could be, oh, yeah, I wonder how long they've been together. I kind of got that little subtext. But Alara storms in, is like, yeah, no, they need you, the delegates, because, you know, they're going to kill each other because you've been doing nothing but trying to do him this entire episode, and Kelly succeeded. So go do that, and she had security take him there.
Yeah.
I like that we get the entire plot here. And what is the plot? What is the reason?
Well, every year, his people, the Retepsians, go into heat, where they...
Punfar.
Exactly. Where they excrete a pheromone through their skin, and it's only transferred through contact. Very normal thing for them.
Makes someone love them.
Yeah, you don't want to... It's rude. In his culture, he said it was rude to turn down sex. Considered rude. So, yeah. So anyway, we find out that's why Ed and Kelly are acting the way they are, because they shook his hand when he first got on board. And that's also why we find out about Claire and Yafid, because Yafid, the gelatinous crew member, can carry Retepsian pheromones. Because
he walked into him and... Yeah. But obviously he can't absorb them in the same way because he's not got the same nervous system, but they can rub off. What did you think of how he was playing the scene? Because he was so chill the entire episode. He's just like, well, this is what happens. But do you think he was...
I liked him more by this point, just his reaction to it. At first I thought he was kind of an asshole, but yeah, at this point he's just a genuinely nice guy. This is just a normal thing for him this time of year or whatever. And... yeah, I thought it was awesome the way he played it. He wasn't trying to be malicious or anything at all. But yeah, I thought it was great.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like he says distinctly, this is not a fake thing. They're real feelings, just chemically induced. And he said the sex becomes amazing. So he's like, well, I go through this and it lasts a few days and we can have great sex and then everyone gets over it and we move on. So he's kind of like, well, no one loses. You know, but is it kind of still harsh though that is he using them? Are they using him? Is it bad? Is it good? Is everyone too open? I mean, where are the lines here? You know,
it's not right, in my opinion, for him to be with another species without giving them notification beforehand that this could happen.
Yeah,
I think it's not morally correct.
It's like if you're drugging them to get their consent.
It's like roofing somebody when you shake their hand.
Yeah,
you know,
roofing them with Viagra. And roofie.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's weird. You would think he'd be polite enough to wear some gloves, like just some basic things. But I liked how blasé he was, because maybe those aliens live like 200 years. He could be 79 years old, and this just happens. I mean, it's not. Because that's the thing. Same with Bortus. It's like, how can we, 21st century Earth, judge a culture this is their entire life? You know, if everyone you've ever known when you're born on your planet does this. It's not bad. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just life. So it's interesting to see the cultural context. Obviously, in Star Trek, we couldn't get those same depths, you know, but it's nice to see him here. But then we get brought back to the real plot of the story, the elevator.
Now it has music.
It now has music, and the song is Bobby Goldsboro, The Straight Life, although he didn't actually write it. Written by Sonny Curtis, and I actually listened to the entire song. It's actually a really nice song.
I didn't like it, but that's my opinion. But yeah, I laughed out loud when there was music when the doors opened. Yeah,
it's like a nice choice, but also too much of a serious choice. You want sort of more generic music, but again, the song is actually subtext within the entire song. There's more lines about love and some non-consent, I believe. I only listened to it once, but it's an interesting song if you listen to it. Very carefully picked.
Nice.
And I like how the guys...
It makes me wonder too if through the rest of the series if there's going to be music in the elevators.
Yeah. Well, no,
I bet you there will be.
I called that on the Alien elevator. I said, dudes, have Alien music on the Alien elevator. So
yes,
I guess it just wasn't a thing in this universe. But now it is. They've invented music. All it takes is one bright spark to change the world of elevators.
Yes. So then, of course, the guy shows up again, and he's like, "Hey, I got music in the elevators, guys." And I love her frustration here. She's like, "Really? Is that all you do? Is ride the elevators all day? Is that your job?" Because she's kind of upset about the whole Ed and Derillo being good together.
Yeah. He sort of picked her, sort of, maybe, I don't know. But you see an alien 3 times in an elevator in one day. I mean, where's he going? You know, what's so important? You know?
Well, where are they going all the time? They're always in the elevator.
They're command officers. We've seen what they've been doing. They've been doing everything. We've been trying to get with Derillo. We've seen what they've been doing. Important stuff.
Right. Anyway, they show up in the conference room, and there's all the delegates sitting there. And at this point, I'm thinking, the best way to end this conflict is to just have him like shake all their hands and have them get along with each other. Again, saw it coming. This is such a saw it coming episode, but I think it was fine for that because the story was so good.
Yeah, again, I wasn't trying to think that.
I do all the time. I want to be smarter, the smartest guy in the room. Never am, but try.
And Ed's very preoccupied. He has to tell them about his wonderful new man he's met. And he's on a date soon, and he ignores their request and says, "Just wait, guys, just wait." And basically runs away when they say they're going to send their entire armadas to deal with this. I got a date. Good luck with that. Bye. Like, okay,
and as soon as he said that, my face did the exact same thing Kelly's face is doing. That, really? Mm-hmm. I actually wrote, ugh. Oh, man.
Nice. So they managed to get the dude back into the sick bay, and the worker has no antidote, so this thing has to end in itself. But she confines him to quarters, has to talk, never touches him. That's brilliant. He's kind of sorry. He's kind of like, oh, okay, boo. And then back on the bridge, and the fleet has arrived. I appreciate seeing actual ships, actual fleets. It's a first for Orville, something this big, and we do get to see at least it realised a little bit in a minute. Although the ship's very simple, very simple, but interesting enough.
And the next scene, I kind of just went, "No, please tell me no, this didn't happen." Oh, Ed, no. I thought this scene was interesting to say the least. I love that Kelly's all depressed and eating a cupcake. With sad music playing.
My note is I want that muffin, that cupcakes. It looked so good.
Yeah, but anyway, Derillo's like, "This is serious. Like, why aren't you on the bridge? You're the captain. I'm the captain of your taut physique. Get over here, mister." It's like, ugh. So it's such a Kirk line if it was a lady, I guess. But
well, it's pretty clear though they've now done things. So they've now shared a blue partner, have Kelly, and hopefully that'll help repair the relationship by him having revenge sex with the same alien, I guess.
Yeah, because he says that in the elevator. This is just an awesome conclusion to this whole thing. Me actually getting the guy that you cheated on me with, and I'm like, why is this conversation even happening? Just stop.
Because it's epic. Because it's just fun epicness. But yeah, you're right. Derillo's like, "Oh, I'm an archaeologist, but this is like he's not affected by it. Like he's just enjoying life." Like, yeah. Dude, you just solve this? Seriously? This is bad? This is great and all, but yeah.
Yeah, and I take it the Retepsians can at least still go about their normal life and normal duties when they're doing this kind of thing. But the humans are way too affected by it, then they're zoned in. So, yeah. Anyway, we get the delegates on the bridge, and they're both going to start a war, and Bortus orders Allura to take their communication devices and confine them to their quarters so they can't contact their fleets.
Doesn't stop the battle, though.
No, and they come up with a theory that they want to extend their deflectors as a wall, a barrier between the fleets. And I thought that's really thin. That's stretching it kind of thin.
Literally and figuratively.
It's space. It's 3D. You just go over it. Like, how big could it be? Anyway, they need Yavid to go and get in the conduits to basically, because we established this in another episode, because he's gelatinous, he can get where other people can't really quick. So he needs to go in. He needs to go into the conduits and make some changes so that they can actually project this deflector wall. And, yeah.
And that's when the plot, a lot of things happen very quickly, so I have to burn through some of this stuff. But Derillo comes to the bridge, says, "I've got a plan." All the ships are in formation, and then the Doctor ambushes.
Yeah, a little jealous much.
Oh.
Oh, you haven't called me. And she just pulls a weapon on him. Like, ugh. He's like, I'm just going to engineering. I need to do my job.
I was locked in my room, so I was told to stay there, don't talk to you. Tell me what...
I love how unaffected he is by it. He's just like, what the...
I thought we had a really nice day. Why are you trying to shoot me now? Jesus.
Yeah.
He doesn't know why, does he?
No. But then there's a space battle. The fleets go at each other. This was kind of cool to see. Especially the scene where you see the skylight and the bridge, and they're like zipping over top, and it's like, yeah. I'm like, what happened? Yeah, at this moment, I'm like, what happened to the deflector thing? Because I completely forgot that you need Yavid.
But they explain that in 3 seconds, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the moment you can tell Andrew Probert designed in TNG that you can look up. So they did it. It just took them another 25 years to do in a different show, but they did it. And for a space battle, pretty good actually. It had some momentum. You felt the capital ships. You felt little fighters. Yeah, it was good. I mean, again, the ships were really simple design, really low detail, but it was good. Like actually, they followed through on the concept, like they do often. Like I said, that's one thing they do in this show. They actually follow through on a concept properly. You know, they show us the things, and they did. They actually had a pretty decent space battle, to the point where things are blowing up, and some good shots.
And then this scene's hilarious. The two delegates come on the bridge holding hands, and I'm like, oh my god, see, that's what they needed to do. That's perfect. I called this like a little while ago, but anyway.
So cringy.
It is.
But it's great, but it's so cringy.
Like, guys, just call off the fighting. Well, you can tell them why. I don't want to tell them before my parents. And then they share a kiss, and it's like, yeah, the cringe. It's like, oh, stop. You're going to regret this later.
Oh, yeah. But it was lovely. It was really lovely. And it's a good solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Although, again, without their consent, so it's kind of like we save lives through drugs. It's a weird one, but it's just the delay tactic, because now, which we'll learn in a minute, the archaeology said, as you called, there's DNA from both species. They have a common ancestor, which I was a bit confused about. I guess the species both colonized the planet, had kids, and then forgot they had kids on the planet, and then they all died, and then there's... I don't understand that bit, because they look very different, but okay. Like they're not from the same species, because they look so different, but hey, whatever. It's all good. So they get so the situation is resolved, huzzah, they're in love, huzzah, huzzah. And then the doctor's like, this was awkward, let's just,
I'm not looking forward to seeing Yavid again.
Made his day, though. And then we get this lovely little moment with the doctor helper person saying, I'm going to give you a accommodation. He's like, the computer did most of it, but thanks, sir.
Yeah, I forget the nurse's name. I was going to write it down, but I forgot.
But I liked that because it was just a sense of crew, a sense of professionalism. You didn't need it, but it was Nurse Ogawa. It's like,
or Nurse Chapel, or Dr. Mbenga. From TNG or TOS. I mean,
you give them more lines, you give them a character. Yeah, they develop. It's a nice thing to have that sense of family.
Yeah. And then we get to see the first officer's office, which is laid out different. Well, it's the exact same office as Ed's, but it's the way where she's got her desk is different, and I love that, because his office, judging by the hallway, his office is just right beside hers, closer to the bridge, or she's on the other side, one or the other.
Cool.
Actually, I think it's probably right behind his, because the other side is the stairwell,
the
spiral stairs. But yeah, it was nice to see a redress here of the set. And she's like, do we even need to talk about this? Just, and then Derillo comes in and tells them about the common ancestor and all that, how they don't have to fight over the planet anymore. So that solves all their problems, basically.
And then we get Ed and Kevin like, just go. I mean, you've got a shuttle, just leave, thanks.
And then Kelly's like, wait. A year, when you cheated on me, roughly a year ago, she said. I thought it was longer than that they'd broken up, but
yeah.
Anyway, were you in heat? And he's like, maybe. He didn't confirm for sure, but there's the possibility there. So maybe she didn't have a choice in cheating on Ed. We don't know. It could have been that he wasn't in heat at the time. We just don't know. But it's the way she said it about a year ago, and the way he kind of reacted to it makes us think that, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's the inception Inception last minute. It's like you take it one of the two ways. I agree with you, but it's up to the audience to decide. And I will say that was obviously where that's kind of the point of the episode almost, to give us that. Maybe it wasn't her choice, but to have that development, it's like the moment that starts a franchise, it
And
wasn't
now-
her fault. It's like that's.
And now they're on equal footing because they both.
Yeah, he knows exactly what that was capable of, so he can't judge of saying you could have fought it. It's like no, you can't fight it.
So it's nice that this is going to kind of put that whole cheating thing, the pettiness of the argument and the divorce thing to rest. I liked it. I liked that it tied that bow and got that storyline out of the way. Because there was a few episodes where it's like, really, do you need to mention the cheating and the divorce again? I mean, I probably would, because like I said, I can relate a lot to Ed. I'm very jealous and kind of petty that way sometimes. So I would kind of do the same thing. But I appreciated the episodes where we didn't hear about their divorce.
But this was a strong payoff.
Yeah,
that those things were set to. And like I say, I'm more than happy for them to get together again in a while. I think they were a great two, and be on the same ship kind of makes it a nice little dynamic. But yeah, really humanizes everything, and it shows there are more than one side of the story. And yeah, she was so apologetic, and you can sort of, she was, because it came out of nowhere. She doesn't even understand why, if that's the heat, even if it wasn't in heat. Obviously in their minds they'll be thinking what they'll want to assume it was, and he's giving them a gift. It's his way of apologizing. If they both think it was, even if he wasn't, then maybe they can repair because it was a mistake. But again, as he said, it's rude to turn down sex. So if she had come on to him anyway, for her own, I want to, get back at Ed. He's not going to say no anyway. So he didn't do it out of malice. So he was in a bad position. Either way, it's kind of going to happen based on his species. So it's like, really kind of deepens that. And I think, again, those lines being so well tread.
So my final analysis of the show, like I said, it's a middle of the road episode for me.
Have you not liked it a bit more though with all this analysis?
Yes.
I feel like
Absolutely. I've kind of warmed up to it a little bit, hearing your points of view and things, and really, every time we talk through things, I tend to get more out of it anyway.
Yep, me too.
So yeah, still for me, it was a middle of the road episode. I could go without ever seeing it again, to be perfectly honest. But I do appreciate all the character development, especially for Alara. She's a very professional. I really appreciated her character a lot in this one. And you do get to see a lot of how they could be in certain situations, some of the other crew members. So I really appreciated this episode. We got to see, like you said, the ensemble cast. You got the kids. You got even Clyden and Bortus's baby. And the sense of home on the ship, which is awesome, even with the nurse and things. So overall, the character development of the story was great. But for me, it was just kind of it was good. It was good. It was super predictable for me.
Okay.
And it did kind of tie in like two plot elements from the TNG episodes into one episode, which was fine, but that wasn't the main focus of the episode anyway. It was this getting this relationship debacle sorted out and kind of get them back on equal footing so we can see their relationship grow and prosper from here. So I do appreciate it for that, but at the same time, it was just kind of ho-hum for me. It's not like a 5. I would give it like a 7. It's above average.
So I've upped
but it's
it
not
from a sort of 5 to a 7 to you. Okay.
Well, it was about a 6 when I started. I had 6 written down. But yeah, I'll up it to a 7 because I do appreciate a lot of the things that happened as a result of this episode, especially with character development things. So yes, 7 for me.
Awesome. Glad I could help. Yeah, like I say, it just impresses me so much. We see a lot of shows that are starting. This is a brand new franchise, so we've got to look at it in that context. And to create such a strong bond between characters, and their voices, you understand who they are. I mean, this show's gone from strength to strength to strength consistently. 9 episodes in, my God, they can do a second season. So really impressive, and obviously we are in some extent comparing to Discovery, and it's like the characters are so much more rich and again, very, very impressive what they've done. And for me, this was such Orville doing just Orville. This was Orville, and we had to throw in everything else, and just the writing was so good at being clever. It didn't necessarily reach the highs it could have, but for me, there was no low points. It was a great ride. They crammed a lot in. A lot of great scenes. Like, there's a lot of small, great parts that made up... Maybe predictable, sure, but I don't watch TV like that. But that's just us being different. So that is neither's right sort of thing. For me, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to say a 9 point something. So I guess we'll average out to sort of 8 something. But this is just such a... If you want to go from like the first episode and then watch this episode, I think that's really good, because it's like a sequel to that, but also it shows the development and the improvements of the stories, the characters, the writing. This is this is how the show can be in its own world.
One of the misses for me with this episode was at the end where they said about a year ago, because I really assumed this is probably 2 or 3 years since their divorce.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
It wasn't. And I saw this question coming too, because the whole as soon as we found out about the pheromones, I'm like, was that going on when she cheated? It was kind of in the back of my mind, so I'm glad they addressed it the way they did. But I still think it should have been a little bit more than a year ago, like 2 years. 2 years would have been fine, because I think that gives everybody the time to deal with things.
I know at the start they did say like 6 months later, something. They did give a distinct date. But still, a year's not a long time, and also it's a long time. It works both ways, but it's like, lucky for them to have closure in a year, seriously, because a lot of us don't get that.
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely.
But yes, like I say, 9 something, and we'll average out as an 8. I'd probably say 9.3 or something. Like, I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and
So
the CG was great.
8.1.
There we go, 8.1. Well done, Orville, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to next week. I don't watch the trailers for Orville. I'm excited to see everything fresh. A couple of episodes left, and I'm so excited to see where they go, because this show, they understand continuity and overarching story, little beats, so anything can happen still.
Yes.
There you go.
So you have it, guys. What did you think of this episode? Did you enjoy it? Put it in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a like if you liked our conversation about it. We tend to learn a lot when we talk to each other about things, and hopefully that you guys see that and get a new appreciation for the episode based on our discussions as well. So if you do, please give us a like. Don't forget to share it around to anybody you think would love this Orville review, and check out our Facebook pages. We have a Fleetyards one, we have a Trekyards one, where we have discussions on ships and tech, and we would love you to join, because there's always great conversations and community there.
Yeah, we have a great group of people moderating and helping to create a great community, and we've done this for a few years now, guys. The good conversations can be had over there. But if you want to support this show, this channel, this community, and allow us to make more shows like this, because it's a long review, it takes a long time to film, edit, and such. So if you want to support this and all the stuff we do over here at Trekyards channel / Fleetyards, then a couple of great ways: either just share wherever you think fans would enjoy it, like Stuart said, or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. Give a little bit of money can go a long way, especially when we're not asking for much, just a little bit. Or a regular donation at Patreon, which is a monthly donation scheme. It's like a Netflix or a Hulu. Support this channel, this network, by giving a little bit. And if enough of you give $5, it can make a huge, huge difference, and give us a budget to actually make the show and keep making the show.
And make better shows in the future. We have plans, man.
Mm.
All right, so until next time, next Orville episode, next Discovery review, whatever you want to check out on our channel. Until then, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Holmes.
See you in the future.
Bye, guys.